Hey, are you looking for an apartment in Japan? Want to find your perfect room with the best possible terms? But wait a second. When it comes to apartment hunting in Japan, there are unique fees called Shikikin and Reikin. Knowing about them or not can change your initial move-in costs by hundreds of thousands of yen. It would be a total waste to lose money on your brand new life in Japan just because you weren't aware. But if you watch this video all the way to the end, you won't have to worry about that at all. Be sure to watch until the very end, and let's make your apartment hunt a smart, money-saving success. If you're looking for an apartment in Japan, leave it to me. I'm Moon from the Move-In channel. Today, I'm going to explain these 3 things in a super easy to understand way. Alright, let's go! So, has everyone heard of Shikikin and Reikin? They're words that always come up when you're looking for an apartment in Japan. First up is Shikikin. In English, this is what you'd call a deposit. Basically, it's a security deposit. You give this money to the landlord at the beginning as a promise, like saying, I promise to take great care of this room. If you happen to fall behind on rent, or if you damage the room, the repair costs are paid for from this Shikikin. But don't worry, if you keep the room clean and have no problems, this money gets returned when you move out. Now, the tricky one is Reikin. In English, I guess you could call it key money or maybe gift money. Just as the name implies, it's money you give to the landlord as a thank you. I know what you're thinking. Wait, why do I have to pay a thank you gift? Well, it's an old Japanese custom meant to express gratitude for letting you rent their precious home. So, unlike the Shikikin, once you've paid the Reikin, you don't get it back. So, how much do you actually have to pay? That's the big question, right? The market rate looks something like this. That's right. In big cities, your initial costs can sometimes be as much as 4 months' rent. Shocking, isn't it? And that is exactly why the ways to lower your initial costs that I'm about to talk about are so important. Okay, so earlier I said the Shikikin is money you get back, but there's something you need to be careful about. It's a rule called Genjo Kaifuku, or restoration to original condition. It might sound complicated, but to put it simply, it just means, please return the room to the state it was in when you rented it. But this doesn't mean you have to make everything sparkling new. For example, you do not have to pay for things like this: scratches and stains from normal living. That's called normal wear and tear, and the landlord covers those costs. However, watch out! You're responsible for any damage caused accidentally or intentionally. As long as you do regular cleaning, you'll get your Shikikin back, so please don't worry too much about it. And now for today's most important point. The way to drastically lower your initial costs is, look for a 0-0 property. As the name suggests, these properties have both Shikikin and Reikin at 0 yen. Of course, you can search for them on our site Moovin, so be sure to check it out. But be careful. There's a saying, nothing is more expensive than a free gift, so think about why it's 0 yen. Be cautious, because there are possibilities like these. Don't just jump at Shikikin and Reikin 0 yen. It is super important to read your contract carefully and confirm what the total costs. Remember that. By the way, if you're only staying in Japan short-term, I also recommend fully furnished monthly apartments or share houses where you can make friends, and which often don't require Shikikin or Reikin. Finally, I'm going to teach you 3 golden rules to make sure you succeed with your rental contract in Japan. First, find a reliable real estate agency. Choose a company that has English-speaking staff or provides support for foreigners. Second, prepare a rentai hoshinin, or a joint guarantor. This is a person who will pay the rent for you if you become unable to. If you don't have a Japanese relative or friend, it's common to use a guarantor company service which you pay to act as your guarantor. Third, always check the contract before you sign it. If there's anything in Japanese you don't understand, be absolutely sure to ask questions until you do. Questions like, when and how much of the Shikikin will be returned? And will there be any fees when I move out? Are especially important. Alright, that's all for this time. Shikikin and Reikin. 00 properties, and contract tips. Now you've got them down perfectly. Japan's real estate rules are a bit unique, but if you have the right knowledge, there's nothing to be afraid of. In fact, you can use these rules smartly to find the absolute best apartment that's perfect for you. On Moovin, you can search for apartments in Japan from anywhere in the world. We offer support in Japanese, English, Chinese, and Vietnamese. So be sure to check out our official website from the link in the description. If you thought this video was helpful or interesting, please subscribe and hit the like button. I'm cheering for your new life in Japan with all my heart. Bye-bye!